Hi, my name is Greg Stilson, and in this video I will be presenting to you the popular HumanWare BrailleNote Apex. The BrailleNote family has been around since 2000 with the BrailleNote Classic, in 2005 with the BrailleNote Empower, and today we have the BrailleNote Apex. I will be demonstrating to you the hardware of this device, along with many of the features that increase efficiency in the daily lives of Apex users. So an example of where this Braille display really comes in handy is if I'm sitting in a library or in class while the teacher's speaking, I can read across the display completely silently with no voice speaking to me at all. And I can read a book, I can read my assignments, all tapping the thumb keys to advance the display, and I never have to take my hands off the Braille display at all. Other displays sometimes will have extra buttons or wheels, things like that you have to remove your hands to the sides to advance the display. These thumb keys make a very seamless transition. So a major advantage of the BrailleNote Apex is that it runs an interface called Keysoft, and Keysoft allows the device to be simple enough that a very young student could use it, or a professional who uses it for their daily tasks. You can use it for your work or for leisure. So to give an example of how a student would use it, let's say that I read a book and I need to write a book report, and I could type into the BrailleNote's word processor, "I really enjoyed this book, and the main character was my favorite." At this point, I've inserted text into the BrailleNote. Now, how do we actually get it out of the BrailleNote? How do we get it to the teacher that actually needs to grade my assignment? Well, the BrailleNote has an internal printing function. I can go to the word processor and print it out, and at that point, once I print the document, the teacher will have it in their hand. They will be able to grade my paper with the rest of my student peers, and they'll be able to do that instantaneously. Or the flexibility of the Apex allows it to be connected to other devices. Say for in a professional environment, if I'm on a bus or a train and there's bad weather and I have a meeting in the morning, I could take it and connect it up to an iPhone or an iPod or an iPad. As long as it's running VoiceOver, which is the screen reader on the Apple devices, I use the Bluetooth connection from the Apex to wirelessly connect to the Apple device, to the iPad, iPhone, or iPod, and I could send a text message to my boss telling him that I will be late for the meeting. And at that point, I can send the message just by touching the keys on my BrailleNote. I never have to touch the keys or the screen on my iPhone, and immediately I can receive a response back that says, "Buddy message, no problem, we will wait for you. See you later." Without ever touching the screen of my iPhone, without ever touching the touch keyboard, I can type a message so fast on my Apex and receive a message instantaneously. Another feature of the Apex that people really enjoy is the built-in book reader. It allows for books to be downloaded from the internet, put on a thumb drive, or used from an SD card. And an individual could choose to read the books in Braille on the Braille display, as I'm doing right now. You notice that as I'm reading across, my hands never come off the display because I'm touching the thumb keys on the front. It feels very natural, and there's no wasted energy. Or I could choose to listen to the speech from the BrailleNote. The built-in text-to-speech engine allows for books to be read continuously using an easy-to-understand voice.
The two men appeared out of nowhere, a few yards apart in the narrow, moonlit lane. For a second they stood quite still, wands directed at each other's chests. Then, recognizing each other, they stowed their wands beneath their cloaks and started walking briskly in the same direction.
A sighted teacher or assistant can also read the contents of the Apex if they're not familiar with Braille by connecting it up to either a laptop via a USB connection, the way that I have it connected here, or a simpler way to do it is to simply plug in a standard monitor cable into the back of the Apex. The Apex has what's called a VGA connection on the back, and all you do is simply plug in the cable, and turn the visual display on using the Apex functionality. As you can see, I have a sample document up on the screen right now, and using a program called Key View on a laptop, I'm able to not only view the printed text, but I'm also able to see the contents of a Braille display at the bottom. For a teacher teaching a student grade 1 or grade 2 Braille, they can see exactly what kind of Braille was typed on the bottom. You can see the pins changing, you can see the contents of the Braille display right on the screen.